There is a truth that runs through generations, cultures, and spiritual traditions. But those who come across it notice something unsettling. It cannot be taught. Alan Watts, the British philosopher who devoted his life to translating Eastern wisdom for the West, pointed out a paradox at the heart of spiritual awakening. The deeper the realization, the harder it becomes to explain. Not because of arrogance or manufactured mystery, but because the very nature of this awareness exists beyond words. And here is what few people openly admit. You may have already felt this. That brief moment when everything suddenly made sense, yet when you tried to explain it, the words felt empty, inadequate. This is not a failure of language, it is the signature of awakening. The deepest truth of existence pulses in the silence between your thoughts, in the stillness you often avoid because the mind insists it must do something with it. Alan Watts often said that spiritual awakening is not about gaining something new, but about recognizing what was always there, like realizing you were looking for your glasses while they were already on your face. Enlightenment is not an achievement or a spiritual trophy. It is a radical shift in perception, where you stop identifying with the voice in your head, the one that comments, judges, and narrates every moment of your life. When that happens, something surprising becomes clear. The self you thought was so solid is actually a story your mind keeps telling on repeat. And here lies the paradox that makes this truth impossible to convey. The moment you try to explain it with words, it turns into a concept. And concepts are precisely what awakened awareness has moved beyond. It is like trying to catch water with a net. That is why Zen masters smile in silence when asked about the meaning of life, and why Watts insisted that the truth of awakening must be lived, embodied, never merely understood intellectually. Genuine presence does not need arguments to prove itself. The truth needs to remain hidden, not because it is a secret locked away, but because its nature is fundamentally unspeakable. Watts observed that the greatest obstacle to awakening is our obsession with explanations. We want to turn everything into formulas, steps, repeatable methods. Yet awakened perception unfolds in a realm beyond words, where language simply cannot reach. Trying to put this awareness into words is like trying to describe a symphony using only numbers. That impossibility creates a peculiar kind of quietness in those who have gone through this transformation. They realize that any attempt to teach the truth of awakening inevitably shrinks it, turning it into just another idea for the mind to collect. That's why you rarely see truly awakened souls debating philosophy or trying to convince anyone of anything. They simply live from that understanding quietly. Lived truth needs no promotion. It reveals itself through presence in the way these people move through the world. Watts often pointed to a central insight in Eastern philosophies. You are not separate from the universe, you are the universe experiencing itself through this particular form. When you look at a tree, there is no you here and tree there. There is only the act of seeing taking place, a single dance of consciousness and form. This perception dissolves the feeling of being an isolated self, struggling against a hostile world. How do you explain that the observer and the observed are the same? Any statement like, you are the universe, sounds hollow until that realization happens directly. That's why awakening cannot be passed along, it has to be recognized, not learned. The truth of this inner nature of reality reveals itself only in silent presence, never in speeches about it. Those who experience this awakening tend to live in a quietly understated way, not because they are hiding a spiritual treasure, but because they understand that truth is communicated through being, not through motivational talks. Someone who has truly awakened has nothing to prove. They carry truth embodied in every ordinary gesture of daily life. In how they wash the dishes, how they respond to a provocation, how they inhabit the present moment. This is the purest way of keeping the truth hidden, not by concealing it, but by living so naturally that words become unnecessary. Awakening also brings a radical shift in how you relate to what you call self. Watts often pointed out that we spend our entire lives defending this character, your name, your story, your fears. But when awareness expands, you begin to see that this self is much closer to a character in a movie than to something solid or permanent. It's not that you lose your personality, It's that you stop identifying exclusively with the story your mind keeps telling. This disidentification is not a loss, it's a release. Imagine carrying a heavy suitcase for years and suddenly realizing you can simply put it down. And how do you explain that to someone who still believes they are their thoughts and emotions? You don't explain it, you just understand that everyone awakens in their own time. What's emphasized that the path of awakening is not about accumulating more spiritual knowledge. It's about noticing what is already happening right now. Genuine presence is not something you earn after 1,000 hours of meditation. It's what remains when you stop running from the present moment. It is the simple, direct awareness of what is, without layers of mental interpretation. Presence can't really be described properly because it has no specific content. It isn't a special feeling or a mystical vision. It is the quiet attentiveness that notices everything, sounds, sensations, thoughts appearing and disappearing, without getting lost in any of them. That's why those who have awakened tend to prefer eloquent silence over spiritual chatter. Truth reveals itself through attention, never through explanation. Watts' perspective challenges the idea that awakening is a goal to be reached through effort. He used to say that treating enlightenment as a future destination is like chasing the horizon. The faster you run, the farther it seems to move away. Awakening is a shift in perception that happens when you finally stop searching and recognize what has always been here. This understanding dissolves the illusion that there is a you separate from the rest of existence. The awareness looking out through your eyes is the same awareness that makes the heart beat, the stars shine, and the waves break, all part of a single, inseparable movement. When this realization occurs, there is no one left to explain it, because the one who explains and the thing being explained reveal themselves as expressions of the same cosmic dance. Watts had a distinctive way of approaching philosophy. He compared himself to a musician sharing a melody, not a salesman pushing absolute truths. His intention was never to impose a belief system, but to open people's perception to possibilities that the conditioned mind cannot see on its own. He understood that each person must have their own awakening. No one can do it for you. The truth of awakening cannot be sold, passed on, or packaged into a course. It can only resonate within you when you are ready, like a frequency that suddenly comes into tune. That is why those who have genuinely awakened are not interested in preaching. They live the understanding quietly, and if someone recognizes something in that presence, it is because a seed of awakening was already growing within them. So what do you do with this understanding now? The truth that awakened souls cannot put into words is whispering inside you at this very moment, not in the words of this video but in the space of awareness that is perceiving them. The real question is not, how do I achieve awakening? But, who is the one asking this question? When you stop seeking enlightenment as something far away and begin to notice the presence that already exists here and now, something fundamental shifts. The practice is not about accumulating more spiritual knowledge. It is about living each ordinary moment with full attention, without the constant need for things to be different from what they are. Leave a comment and tell us, have you ever experienced moments when everything made sense, but words felt completely inadequate to describe it? These reflections can be the doorway to a recognition that transforms everything. If this content resonated with you, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to continue this journey of self-discovery. Remember, the consciousness watching this video right now is the same one the universe uses to know itself, and recognizing that is not the end of the search, it is the beginning of truly living.